Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal.
I just had my genealogy done a couple years ago.
What?
What are you? 43% Nigerian.
No way! No, whoa, Jacqueline! Oh my gosh, are you really serious?
Yeah.
From here, and I go to London, then I'm going to Malta, which I'm so excited about. My great-great-grandmother's from Malta. I've never been, so I'm going with a genealogist.
So I mean, I'm going to start to dig deeper into all this because anyone that I've told, especially Nigerian women, are just like, what?
Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. Things are getting just so ridiculous with Meghan and Harry. One of the topics that I want to talk about today is what Harry said a couple days ago about his wife's Nigerian ancestry. Let's address this now. This couple looks so incredibly stupid, but even more stupid is the media running with this and blowing this up as some type of positive thing. What's worse, it's making Nigerians look uneducated and stupid. You all just heard Meghan say out of her mouth from her Archetypes podcast that she was 43% Nigerian. What does that even mean? Right there, the Nigerians should have called her out for saying that because it's simply false. And all the propaganda from these big mainstream media outlets looks so ignorant and stupid because they are replicating and repeating the fact that Meghan is 43% Nigerian when there's no such thing. Nigerian is a nationality. It's like saying you're American or Canadian. This would have been more believable if Meghan actually sounded like she knew what she was talking about by saying, yes, I found out that my ancestry came from Nigeria, and I am 43% part of this ethnic group. Now, Nigeria has over like 370 different ethnic groups within that country. So it would have been more believable if she pinpointed maybe one of those groups to say, yeah, you know, we are of this culture. Like, for instance, in the Caribbean, there are various types of cultures and ethnicities, such as Chinese, Indian, African. You know, Meghan could have said that she was part of this African tribe, one of the tribes, but she didn't. And for the masses right now in the mainstream media, as they write this, they all sound like ignorant fools. And the sad part about it is that money talks, so bullshit can walk, right? And that is what we see happening here. She's paying for a narrative and forcing it down the public's throats in hopes that it will be money well spent to turn things around, but sadly, all it is wasting money. At the end of the day, to measure success, and this is what everybody around them is wanting to see, like Ari from WME, Netflix, and any other potential people that might be interested in Meghan as an influencer, is does all of this PR facade and blowing her image up going to translate into dollars? And my prediction is no, it's not. Clearly, this Instagram account that they're trying to beef up only has over 100,000 followers before even any kind of post is there. I really do think that they're trying to test the waters, and with all the manipulation that we have seen Meghan and her team do so far is no different to what she's doing here and exploiting people that she believes that she can manipulate, such as the Nigerians. Let's take a moment and look at Meghan's family tree on her mom's side, because I'm assuming that that's where the Nigerian is coming from. I don't see it on the Markle side, since that's filled with lots of European, Caucasian dominance. Let's look at the Raglan side to see if we can trace anything back to Nigeria. Starting with Dorito, so far we see her parents and grandparents, all from the United States of America. We've got Tennessee, Los Angeles, Georgia, Chattanooga, Alabama. Yep, pretty sure those are all in the United States. Tennessee, Georgia. Yeah, I'm not seeing where this Nigerian reference comes from. Perhaps maybe they came fresh off the boat from Africa, but there's no trace or evidence showing that They came from that particular country. So Megzy, once again, caught in another lie. Obviously, we knew that, but just wanted to put that out there because if there are any Nigerians that are watching this video, you should see for yourself how you're being manipulated into foolishness right now. I'll bet that Dorito doesn't even know where her ancestry is from, but you can guarantee that she is laughing herself all the way to the bank. I think one of Meghan's worst qualities as a human being overall, and why I think she's dangerous to society, is her ability to exploit vulnerable people and take advantage of them. She will use them and then discard them. We've seen that with elder people. She did that to her own father. She's done this to her family. She's done this to the Queen. I mean, even on the Queen's deathbed, she is trying to manipulate and take advantage of the situation for her personal gain. I think that's the most disgusting thing about her. And why she is continuing to get a platform, it's because she has the money to do so. Again, I said, if she does not turn out to be a profitable entity for other people around her, she will be done, or until the money runs out. And that's what we can hope will happen. But until she has this money, this is going to continue and keep going. What I fear is that she's going to keep going and end up hurting somebody even further. I mean, she's already hurt a lot of people in the wake of her destruction. Look, we all know that this woman is capable of being dangerous. If you give her an inch, she'll take a mile. And God forbid this woman gets any more power, she'll definitely abuse it and see how much she can get away with. Like now, she's seeing that she can do just about anything, go in anywhere and assert herself, and nobody's going to tell her anything. I think today's display of disrespect to those veterans and her husband, Harry, by marching with those veterans who have served is a perfect example of how she doesn't care about anybody else but herself. And as long as she gets the perfect shot and the right outfit and the attention on her globally, then it was all worth it. But as sick as we are of seeing her smug, ugly-looking face, we have to keep talking about what she has done, because all of this is to make you forget about all the vile things that she has done in the past. We're going to talk about how Meghan and Harry are using the veterans and military for their selfish political purposes. But first, I want to talk to you about how Meghan has been using people of color, specifically Black people, to manipulate and benefit herself. First, I'd like to start off and say that Meghan Markle is the racist, and she has always been a racist. She didn't embrace her Black culture when she was growing up. Why do you think she straightens her hair? Why do you think she gets all that plastic surgery? Meghan took advantage of her white privilege. So let's first be honest here with everyone. She went to Northwestern and chose to join an all-white sorority, which there were plenty Black sororities. Why didn't she choose one of those? It's because she identified as white. So now, all of a sudden, she sees how beneficial it can be to use this race card, which clearly we've seen how she used it to sell this story to Harry and, be welcomed into the Commonwealth and all these nations, of which majority are people of color, to get their approval and their love in order for her to manipulate and exploit. And she has been doing that ever since. Now, unfortunately, she is dealing with a lot of stupid people because, let's be honest, there are a lot of stupid people in this world and uneducated people. And these are the people that Meghan is banking on to support and back her, which unfortunately, there are a lot of stupid, ignorant people out there. I mean, Meghan Sussex Squad fan base, they speak for themselves. I need not say any more. Why don't we begin by talking about how Meghan uses her Black mother, starting with the day of the wedding. We all saw Meghan leave wherever she was and rode in the car with Doria on the way to church. But People didn't realize that Meghan kicked her mother out and made her mother walk into the church by herself. Why couldn't Meghan allow her mother to get out with her and walk her down the aisle? Oh, it's because Meghan wanted the optics of showing that her black mother is on her way as this independent woman, but she was too embarrassed to allow her own mother walk her down the aisle. She also was embarrassed that her father could have walked her down the aisle, and she didn't want that either because, God forbid, I mean, he's white. That would, what kind of picture that would have sent? But my point is who does that to their parents? Meghan Markle made her own mother look like the hired help on the day of her wedding. Or how about Meghan parading out her mother for that paid award from the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or the NAACP, which is a black organization that focuses on black people? How appropriate to bring out the one person that represents your blackness, Meghan. And even more recently, we saw Doria with Meghan at the Beyoncé concert hanging out with, you guessed it, predominantly black people. So this is her way of saying, you know what, I am down with the black people, and here's my proof because this is my mom. But enough about Doria. Meghan loves to exploit black kids, especially if they're poor. Take, for example, her trip to Rwanda for this photo shoot with poor black kids and pretending to care. But when you catch her mask slip, she looks absolutely disgusted looking at this poor little boy. Has Meghan gone back to Rwanda? Has she followed up with any of these people? Nope. I mean, look right here at this little girl. She is pretending to kiss this little girl's hand, but she's really kissing her own hand. This was just another photo op for her, and how it would be interpreted globally as Meghan being this caring, loving mother, and how children flock to Meghan. Meghan doesn't want these children touching her. In fact, I'm sure she is so skeeved out by having to do this, possibly one of the many reasons as to why she couldn't cut it as a royal. She had to touch the peasants like us. Oh, and let's not forget how this asshole came to New York and chose to go to one of these really poor schools in Harlem to exploit these children to promote her book, The Bench, bringing 2 boxes of rotten vegetables and promising a washer and dryer, which never was delivered. And then this couple had the nerve to ask these parents of these kids who are most likely on state assistance to donate to Archwell Charity in the little packet that they send home. They gave $25,000 to Melba's restaurant in Harlem for chicken and waffles and failed to report that on the IRS form for 2021. Yeah, I definitely pointed that out to the IRS when I spoke to them on the phone. Let's hope that they are investigating this. I kindly suggest that people keep continuing to call the IRS and submitting a request for them to audit and investigate Archwell Public Charity. It's sad to say, but what you're seeing here at Invictus is all a show. Meghan is doing this for the cameras, but when the cameras are not on them, you can bet that Meghan wants nothing to do with these people. Case in point was the other day when the Sussex squatty was like, Meghan, the Sussex squad is here. Meghan wanted nothing to do with this woman, almost as if she pretended not to even know her, even though most likely her PR team had them come out there, which they have done in the past for the previous games. You see the same squatties who travel from place to place as fillers to make it look like it's authentic and that there are people that are supporting them. Most likely they're paying them. But in any case, these idiots think that Meghan is going to somehow help them in some way if they continue to kiss her ass. And, sadly, they're being used.
Meghan Sussex squad is here.
Sussex Squad, Meghan doesn't want to know you, and when the time comes, she's going to throw you guys under the bus. You watch. Look no further. These two are the real royal racists. And that's my opinion from looking at all the footage and photos that they have shoved in our faces. It's pretty clear in these 3 pictures that Harry is holding on to Meghan and Meghan is squeezing on to Harry as if, hey, protect me. And you can see the bodyguard is trying to push off this black woman who's trying to just show Harry her phone. But God forbid, these people get too close and they feel uncomfortable. This is what you see here. And that woman that you see in the white shirt and the glasses that is trying to show Harry her phone, moments later, she's mysteriously gone, and so is the bodyguard. So my guess is that she got removed because they felt threatened. You can see the 2 bodyguards there. You have Chris Sanchez, and then you see Baldy put his hand there to push her away. And then in the next photo, there's something that happens, and clearly you can see that Harry's face is quite alarmed. And then finally, this last picture, that woman is gone. So my assumption is something happened and they had to remove her because there's no longer the bodyguards there. So I'd be curious to know if anybody was there that witnessed this. Drop a comment below. Let's hope this is not something that gets fabricated and ends up in Harry's court case to get his security back. Because you know how these 2 like to stage and fake certain scenarios to create a certain narrative. We've seen this time and time again. When the camera is not on these 2, they want nothing to do with black people, unless if their names are Oprah and Tyler Perry. Meghan showed her true colors about how she feels about black people when she was in Africa. Let's all not forget this wonderful clip.
How rude.
Meghan looks so afraid to go over and give these women a hug, even though she's such a hugger. It was almost like she didn't want to touch them, and God forbid she shake everybody's hand, in which she purposely skipped the woman in red to shake her hand. I mean, how rude is this woman? Extremely. But you can see that her intentions and her ability to be genuine, especially when it comes to being authentic, doesn't exist. And what we're seeing at Invictus is all an act and a show. It's sad to say, but Meghan is using black people, especially vulnerable black people. The good thing is that kids are not stupid. And this little girl's face really expresses how we all feel at this point. To drive home the message that Meghan enjoys exploiting minorities while preventing any type of equality or bridging the gender gap, look no further than that stupid 12-episode podcast, Archetypes. Seriously, I think Vodsec Meghan needs to trend again tomorrow in Dusseldorf. Let's all not forget how she insulted the South Africans when she called the president's residence a housing unit. What's laughable to me is that they had 9 executive producers on this project. So you wonder, how did they miss the mark on this racially insensitive content? It's because every one of them are white. So they would have no idea that what Meghan was saying was offensive to the South Africans. And to be honest with you, Serena should be really embarrassed because she was used by white people. If you put all the guests that have been announced that are supposed to be part of this podcast, do you not see a theme here? These guests should feel offended. They are people of color. Me being a person of color myself, I find it highly offensive that they chose to exploit the minorities. So when people wonder how did they miss the blatant insensitivity to Meghan's comments about South Africa and her demoralizing, condescending tone that she took with talking about her story while she was in South Africa, it's because the people on the team are not diverse, and they had no idea that this content was so offensive, including Meghan, because Meghan, for the majority of her entire life, identified as Caucasian. Because if she identified as a Black woman, then she would have understood that what she was saying was disrespectful and also extremely insulting to her very own people. That's if she embraced or really embodied being a person of color. Now, I'm sure many of you forgot a lot of this stuff, but it's always good to remind people because clearly what they're trying to do is get you to forget all of it. So I'm going to keep bringing it up, and I want people to continue to keep sharing. And if so far you like this video, please hit that like button so this can reach more people. It really does help the channel. But let's continue on and now talk about how Meghan and Harry are exploiting these disabled veterans. If you saw my community page this morning, you saw how pissed off I was when I saw this. What right does this woman have to be marching along these veterans and people who have served to fight for our freedoms, the same freedoms that this Hollywood parasite and her stupid husband, who needs to be deported ASAP, are trying to take away with what they're doing in this country? Not only have these two incited so much divisiveness, their toxicity on society itself should have told Invictus Games Foundation that this was not appropriate. Not only that, but look how disrespectful this asshole looks wearing shorts and flip-flops as she's walking alongside these people who have served and fought. Like, shame on this foundation for doing this. And this really pissed me off today because this woman doesn't care about any of the people around there. Neither does Harry, too. This is all a show for these two. And I'm going to call it out. Meghan, this woman has a disabled sister, but here she is being compassionate and showing empathy, false empathy. She couldn't even show this type of empathy to her own disabled sister. So you know what, Meghan? F you. I'm going to continue to keep playing these clips that you don't want people to see and that you want people to forget. Nobody sees any of this as a positive. As much as you can have your people tell you to your face all day long that the public loves you and you're getting this adulation, you will never be what William and Catherine are going to be. So get that out of your head. You will never be able to compete on the same level as those two. Clearly, you don't have it. Oh, and stop blaming the royals for not acknowledging you. Look, they're clearly acknowledging you, Meghan, here in this picture. These two have disrespected veterans in so many ways. I mean, who could forget them walking on the graves of these fallen soldiers, all for this photo shoot? Like, it's a sick and twisted mind this woman has. And, you know, do I need to bring up Uvalde? Let's not forget that Meghan exploited those dead children for a photo op. Now that we're talking about Uvalde, I forgot about this t-shirt. It's still available if you guys are interested. It's over up on the Keep NYC Mega Trash Free store. I'll put the link below in the description box if interested. I really want people to remember Meghan showed her true colors on how she feels about disabled people. Maybe this woman here reminded her of her sister, but regardless, Meghan was rude and was completely dismissive of the woman in the wheelchair talking to her. So just to set the stage, I've shown this clip before, but it's of Meghan at the Endeavor Fund Awards in 2019, and there is a handicapped woman in a wheelchair trying to talk to Meghan about her child, who is a 9-year-old, and indicating that it's hard. And You can see Meghan's disinterest, and as a way to block this woman off and sort of be passive aggressive about it, is her putting her arm out and trying to roll up her sleeve, cutting off any type of engagement that this woman in the wheelchair could have further with the group.
I am a 9-year-old.
I think you know. It's the stage where I want to strangle you. I want to say that in public.
I am a 9-year-old.
I think you know. It's the stage where I want to strangle you. I want to say that in public.
This was so rude to do to this woman. And quite frankly, if it was me and I saw that, I would have put Meghan in her place. No doubt. And here in this split couple seconds, you can see Meghan's distaste for this woman in the wheelchair. Meghan is such a jerk. She has zero empathy for anyone, and I don't see why anyone should be giving her the time of day.
I am a 9-year-old.
I think you know. It's the stage where I want to strangle you. I want to say that in public.
Meghan, please stay home. Nobody wants to see you at Invictus. I think from now on, any of this footage, I'm going to substitute the track with the boos from the Jubilee, like in this case. We have one more day of this torture from this woman being in our faces. God only knows what she has planned for the closing ceremonies. I will bet that she has forced her way into giving some type of speech. She has literally pissed on Invictus Games Foundation, and I hope to God next year Invictus recognizes in Canada that this woman should be nowhere near this event, because you know what? These two ruined it. And sadly, even though it is an amazing organization and what they're doing, I cannot support it because these two are involved. And I think once the money dries out, as well as, let's say, the Invictus Games become affected because donations have declined over this, you will bet that they will drop these two. And that's what needs to happen. Money talks, and if we want to see something done, then don't support the organization. Sadly, they're supporting what is going on. They're supporting Meghan Markle disrespecting these people who fought for freedom. What do you guys think? I know you're all sick of it, but we have to go through it. We have to do this together. I can't do this by myself, because the one thing that we don't want is for people to forget what they have done and Meghan make her move into the political sphere. Because technically what we're watching here is Meghan's platform. She's going to use this and position her campaign as a global world leader that is so loved and adored by children, disabled people, Black people. I mean, you name it. Those underserved, she is going to be their saint, or at least that's what they're positioning her as. But definitely leave your thoughts below. And as always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
I was such a fraud.